The sound of the doorbell shattered the stillness of my quiet apartment, pulling me from the flickering glow of the TV screen. I glanced at the clock, 11 p.m. Who could it be at this hour? Reluctantly, I pushed myself off the couch, my heart pounding with a mix of dread and curiosity. When I opened the door, I found Hannah standing there, her face pale and eyes red-rimmed. For a moment, time froze. I hadn't seen her in 2 years, and yet the sight of her brought a flood of memories, good and bad. A pit formed in my stomach, reminding me of the night that had changed everything. "What do you want?" My voice was colder than I intended, but I felt the weight of our history pressing against me. She hesitated, then stepped inside, her demeanor filled with an uncomfortable mix of remorse and determination. "I need to talk," she said, her voice shaking. I closed the door behind her, the click echoing like a final verdict. As she took a seat on the edge of the couch, I found myself lost in thought, spiraling back to that fateful night. It started like any other evening. I came home after a long day at work, ready to unwind. But there she was, dressed provocatively, a sight that ignited a fuse of anger within me. "Hannah, where are you going?" I asked, the tension in my voice rising as I took in her outfit. "To a party with Ethan," she replied, not even looking up from her phone. Ethan, a name I had grown to despise. "You know how I feel about him. This isn't just a night out, Hannah." She rolled her eyes, dismissing my concerns. "It's just a party. You're overreacting." My heart raced, a mix of betrayal and desperation. "If you leave tonight, don't come back. This is your last chance." But she walked out the door anyway, a final act that felt like a knife to my heart. The phone rang later that night, slicing through my restless thoughts. It was Mila, Hannah's best friend. "Hey, David. Heard Hannah's out with a real man tonight," she teased, her laughter echoing maliciously through the line. "Where is she?" I demanded, a sick feeling settling in my stomach. "Listen closely," she said, allowing me to hear the sounds of a party in the background. I clenched the phone as I heard Hannah's voice, mingling with laughter and moans, drowning in a sea of confusion and anger. I couldn't take it. I grabbed a bag, emptying our joint accounts, quitting my job, and driving off into the night, leaving everything behind. As I drove away, the headlights cutting through the darkness, I could feel the weight of my decision settle in. I thought of all the dreams we had shared, the plans that had unraveled before my eyes. But as the miles passed, I felt a strange sense of freedom wash over me, mingling with the bitterness of betrayal. 2 years later, I thought I had buried that night, buried the pain and the memories. I found a new place in Eagle's Nest, Colorado, where the mountains stood tall and the air was crisp. I thought I was free, but her presence was like a ghost lingering in the back of my mind. Then, suddenly, there she was, back in my life, knocking on my door. I was shocked, angry, and confused. "How did you find me?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. "Private investigator," she said, her tone low and earnest. "I've been trying to find you for months. Please, just let me explain." Her eyes glistened with tears as she recounted her story, the night at Mila's party, how she had been drugged, how she didn't know what was happening until it was too late. "I thought I was with you," she said, her voice breaking. "I didn't want any of it. I never wanted to hurt you." I felt a pang of sympathy, but it was quickly overshadowed by the bitterness that had been festering inside me. "You think that makes it okay? You chose to go to that party. You disregarded everything we had." Hannah opened her mouth to argue, but I raised my hand, cutting her off. "You left. You chose them over me. I don't know who you are anymore." The silence between us was thick, charged with unspoken words and memories. Hannah's gaze dropped to the floor, her fingers twisting nervously in her lap. I could see the tremor in her hands, the way she fought against the weight of her own regrets. But as much as I wanted to feel sympathy, the anger was still a hot ember, refusing to extinguish. "David," she started, her voice barely above a whisper. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. "Scared?" I echoed, incredulous. "You think that justifies your actions?" You put yourself in that situation after I warned you. She looked up, her eyes pleading. I thought I was making a choice for myself. I thought I could have a little fun without it affecting us. I didn't think it would lead to that. Did it ever occur to you that your choices have consequences? You left me that night, Hannah. You walked out the door with no regard for what it would do to us. Her shoulders sagged as if my words were physically pushing her down. I know I messed up, but I was naive. Mila always said it was just a party, and I thought. She trailed off, and I saw the shadows of doubt and regret dance across her face. In that moment, the memories surged back, our arguments, her defiance, the way she brushed off my concerns. The night she left had felt like a death sentence for our marriage. I couldn't shake the image of her walking away, the sound of the door clicking shut echoing in my mind like a dirge. After you left, I received a call from Mila, I said, my voice growing steadier as I recalled the moment that had cemented my decision. She taunted me, made it clear that you were with Ethan, that you had chosen them over me. I heard you laughing, having fun, while I sat alone, wondering what I had done wrong. Hannah winced as if my words were a physical blow. That was not my intention, David. I never wanted to hurt you. But you did. You let it happen. You disregarded everything we built together for a night of reckless abandon. You made your choice. The air hung heavy between us, the weight of our unresolved feelings thickening the atmosphere. I felt a storm brewing within her, a mix of anger and sorrow, but I remained resolute. This was a confrontation I had never wanted, but now that it was happening, I couldn't back down. Do you know what it's like to be betrayed by the person you love? I asked, my voice low but firm. To have your entire world upended by a choice you didn't see coming? Hannah's eyes glistened with tears, and she opened her mouth to respond, but I cut her off. Don't say anything that won't change what's happened. You left. You chose that life. I didn't know what was going to happen, she pleaded. I didn't know I would be drugged. I didn't know they would take advantage of me. Her voice cracked, and I could see the desperation in her eyes. David, I was manipulated. Mila used me, and I didn't see it until it was too late. The revelation hit me hard. It was tragic, yes, but it didn't change the past. You think I don't feel for you? I do. But your choices led to this. I don't know if I can ever forgive you for what you did to us. The tension hung in the air like an unresolved chord, and I felt the fight within Hannah begin to drain. She was lost in her own sorrow, a stark contrast to the determined woman who had walked into my life just moments ago. I sued Mila and Ethan, she said quietly, her voice trembling. I won the case. It gave me the resources to find you. I thought if I could just explain everything, maybe we could start over. Her words fell like lead weights. You think a lawsuit can erase the damage done? That it can bring back what we lost? It doesn't work that way, Hannah. A tear rolled down her cheek, and she quickly wiped it away, as if she could erase the evidence of her pain. I want to fix this. I want to show you how sorry I am. Sorry doesn't cut it, I said, the bitterness creeping into my voice. It doesn't change the fact that you shattered my trust, that you chose to turn your back on our marriage for a night of escapism. I watched her struggle with the reality of my words, and for the first time, I saw the full extent of her regret. It wasn't enough to make me waver, but it stirred something deep inside, a flicker of the love I once had for her. Hannah, you need to understand something, I continued, my voice softer but firm. You broke my heart when you walked away, and no matter how tragic your experience was after that, the choice you made is what ended us. She took a shaky breath, the weight of my words hanging heavily between us. David, please. I don't want to lose you again. I've changed. I want to be better. But as she spoke, I felt the finality of our situation solidify in my mind. There was no going back. The wounds were too deep, the trust irreparably shattered. The ghost of what we had was now just that, a haunting memory. I don't think you can, I said quietly, feeling a strange mixture of sadness and resolution. You chose to leave, and now it's time for both of us to face the consequences. As Hannah's pleas echoed in the room, the atmosphere shifted, thickening with unspoken emotions. Her eyes shimmered with desperation, a mix of remorse and longing that cut through the tension like a knife. Just then, Beverly entered, her confident stride halting as she took in the scene before her. "David," Hannah said, her voice rising with urgency, "you don't understand. I was manipulated. I thought I was with you. I didn't want any of this." Beverly's gaze flickered between us, sensing the gravity of the moment. "What's going on?" she asked, her tone even but laced with concern. "Hannah is trying to convince me to revisit the past," I replied, my heart racing. "But I can't just forget what she did. You don't know the whole story." Hannah stepped closer, her voice trembling. "David, please. I've been through hell since that night. I didn't know they would take advantage of me. I thought I was safe. I thought I was with you." "Your choices led you here, Hannah," I shot back, my voice rising. "You walked out on me. You chose that life over our marriage. I can't simply overlook that." The room was electric, the air crackling with tension. I could feel Beverly's unease beside me, her hand gripping mine tightly as Hannah's desperation morphed into anger. "I was naive. I thought I could handle it," Hannah cried, her voice breaking. "But I didn't realize how deep I was falling into Mila's trap." "Mila?" I scoffed, disbelief flooding my veins. "You knew what you were getting into when you went to that party. This isn't just about you anymore." Beverly stepped forward, her protective instinct flaring. "Hannah, you don't get to rewrite history. David has moved on, and you need to accept that." Hannah's eyes widened, realization dawning on her. "But I've changed. I want to be better. I thought we could rebuild." Suddenly, Beverly's composure shifted. "David has built a new life. You don't get to come back in and expect him to forget the pain you caused." Hannah's expression twisted, caught between rage and sorrow. "I didn't choose this. You don't understand the trauma I've faced. I thought I was with you, David. I was lost." The desperation in her voice struck a chord deep within me, a flicker of empathy surfacing. But it was quickly overshadowed by the bitter memories of betrayal. "I can't forgive that," I said, my voice steady, yet the storm inside me raged. "You chose to walk away, and you need to understand the weight of that decision." The air thickened with tension, and for a moment, we were all silent, the gravity of our shared history hanging heavily around us. In that charged moment, I felt the fracture between us, the chasm that had formed because of choices made and paths taken. It was a divide that couldn't be bridged, no matter how desperately Hannah wanted it to be. As her tears flowed freely, I stood firm, my heart heavy but resolute. "It's time to let go, Hannah. We both need to move on." With those words, I watched as the hope drained from her eyes, replaced by the stark reality of our broken relationship. The confrontation had reached its climax, and the bitter truth was laid bare before us. The door to reconciliation had closed, and we were left standing in the aftermath, changed forever by the choices we had made. Hannah's departure left a heavy silence in the air, a stark contrast to the chaotic emotions that had just filled the room. I leaned against the closed door, my heart racing as I processed the moment. I had always feared this confrontation, but now that it was over, I felt a strange mixture of emptiness and relief. "David," Beverly said softly, stepping closer to me. "Are you sure you're okay?" I nodded, though the ache in my chest lingered. "It's just hard to believe it's really over. I thought I could handle it, but seeing her again brought everything back." Beverly reached for my hand, her grip warm and steady. "You did handle it. You faced her and stood your ground. That takes strength." I appreciated her words, but the shadows of the past still loomed large. I just wish things had been different. I never wanted our marriage to end like that. "I know," Beverly replied, her voice gentle. "But you can't change what happened. All you can do is focus on the future." We fell into a comfortable silence, but my mind raced with memories of happier times. I thought of the laughter we once shared, the plans we made, now just echoes of a life that had slipped through my fingers. The next few days passed in a blur. I tried to distract myself with work and activities, but Hannah's face haunted my thoughts. Each time I closed my eyes, I saw the pain in her expression, the tears that fell as she walked away. It was a reminder of the depth of betrayal, but also of the love that had once existed. One evening, as I sat on the couch with Beverly, I felt the weight of my past settling over me like a thick fog. She sensed my unrest and leaned against me, her head resting on my shoulder. "You okay?" she asked. "Just thinking about everything," I replied. "About Hannah and what could have been." "You can't carry that burden," Beverly said firmly. "You've already suffered enough. It's time to let it go." I took a deep breath, her words resonating within me. "I know. I want to be free of it. I want to move forward." "Then let's do it together," she said, sitting up to meet my gaze. "We can create new memories, start fresh. You don't have to face this alone." Her unwavering support gave me strength, and I realized I was ready to embrace the future. Days turned into weeks, and slowly, the memories of Hannah faded. I found joy in small moments, laughing with Beverly, hiking through the stunning Colorado landscape, sharing dreams of our future. I could feel the chains of my past loosening, the grip of regret slipping away. Then, one afternoon, as we prepared to go for a hike, my phone buzzed with a notification. It was a message from Hannah. My heart raced as I opened it, unsure of what to expect. "David, I just wanted to say thank you. I know I messed everything up, and I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted to let you know that I'm starting over too. I hope you find happiness. Goodbye." I felt a mix of emotions wash over me, sadness, relief, and a hint of closure. I shared the message with Beverly, and she squeezed my hand. "That's a good sign. It means she's ready to move on, just like you." I nodded, feeling a weight lift from my shoulders. "Yeah, it feels like a final goodbye." With each passing day, I found myself looking toward the future with hope. I immersed myself in my new life with Beverly, exploring the beauty of our surroundings and deepening our connection. We laughed, shared our fears, and created memories that felt genuine and untainted. One evening, as we sat under the stars, Beverly turned to me. "You've come so far, David. I'm proud of you." "Thanks," I said, smiling at her. "I couldn't have done it without you." "Let's keep moving forward together," she suggested. "No more looking back." I nodded, feeling a sense of peace wash over me. I was finally ready to let go of the past completely. As I looked up at the vast expanse of stars above, I felt a deep sense of gratitude. I had faced my demons, stood firm against the ghosts of my past, and emerged stronger. My heart was open to new possibilities, and for the first time in a long while, I felt truly free. In that moment, surrounded by the love and warmth of someone who truly cared for me, I understood that this was the beginning of something beautiful, a life unburdened by the weight of betrayal and filled with the promise of hope. The crisp morning air filled the apartment as I prepared breakfast, the aroma of coffee mingling with the scent of sizzling eggs. Beverly moved around the kitchen, humming softly to herself, her energy infectious. It felt like a normal Saturday, but there was something different about today, an undercurrent of anticipation that had me smiling as I flipped the eggs. "Are you ready for our hike?" Beverly asked, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "The weather is perfect, and I've packed us a picnic." "Absolutely," I replied, pouring 2 cups of coffee. "I can't wait. It's been a while since we had a day just for us." As we finished breakfast, I felt a sense of calm wash over me. The memories of Hannah had begun to fade, replaced by the warmth and connection I felt with Beverly. This was a new chapter in my life, and I was finally ready to embrace it fully. After getting ready, we headed out into the Colorado sunshine, the mountains looming majestically in the distance. The air was fresh, filled with the sounds of nature, the rustle of leaves, the distant call of birds, and the soft crunch of gravel beneath our feet as we made our way along the trail. "This place is incredible," Beverly said, her eyes wide with wonder. I can't believe we haven't explored it more. I know, I replied, feeling a sense of gratitude for this new life. It's beautiful out here. I'm glad we're doing this together. We hiked deeper into the wilderness, our laughter echoing against the trees, each step solidifying our bond. As we reached a clearing, we stopped to take in the view, a breathtaking panorama of mountains and valleys, bathed in the warm glow of the sun. This is the perfect spot for our picnic, Beverly declared, spreading out the blanket she had packed. We settled down, sharing sandwiches, fruit, and stories, lost in each other's company. As we sat there, I found myself reflecting on the journey that had brought me to this moment. I had faced the pain of betrayal, confronted the ghosts of my past, and emerged stronger. I had learned the value of trust, love, and resilience, and now I was ready to embrace a future filled with possibility. David, Beverly said, breaking through my thoughts. I want to talk about something. My heart quickened. What is it? She took a deep breath, her expression serious but filled with warmth. I want us to keep building this life together. You mean so much to me, and I can see a future for us. I felt a rush of emotion, hope, excitement, and a deep sense of connection. I feel the same way, Beverly. You've helped me heal in ways I didn't think were possible. Her eyes sparkled with joy. Then let's make a commitment to each other. No more looking back, only moving forward. I nodded, my heart swelling with gratitude. I'm ready. Let's build a life that's ours, without the shadows of the past. As we packed up our picnic and began the trek back, I felt a lightness in my step. The weight of regret and sorrow had been replaced by the promise of a new beginning. I was no longer the man haunted by his past, I was someone who had reclaimed his life, ready to embrace the future with open arms. That evening, as we settled on the couch, I turned to Beverly, a smile spreading across my face. Thank you for being patient with me. I know it hasn't been easy. She shrugged, her expression playful. It's worth it. You're worth it. In that moment, I realized just how far I had come. I had confronted the past and emerged on the other side, ready to embrace all that life had to offer. I felt whole again, no longer tethered to the pain of betrayal. As we cuddled on the couch, watching the sunset paint the sky in vibrant hues, I knew I was exactly where I needed to be. With Beverly by my side, I was ready to write the next chapter of my life, one filled with love, laughter, and the freedom to move forward. And for the first time in a long while, I felt an overwhelming sense of peace. The past was behind me, and the future stretched ahead, full of promise and possibility. The following weeks unfolded like a beautiful dream. With each passing day, Beverly and I grew closer, building a life rich with shared experiences and laughter. We explored the mountains, tried new restaurants, and spent quiet evenings at home, enjoying each other's company. Yet, even amidst this happiness, I felt the last remnants of my past lingering like shadows at the edges of my mind. One sunny afternoon, as we were walking through a local park, I spotted a familiar figure in the distance. My heart sank as I recognized Hannah, sitting alone on a bench, her head down as if lost in thought. A wave of emotions crashed over me, confusion, sadness, and a hint of anger. I turned to Beverly, who had also noticed Hannah. "Do you want to go say hello?" she asked gently, sensing my hesitation. I took a deep breath, torn between wanting to confront the past and a desire to protect the life I had built with Beverly. I think I should. I owe it to myself to face her one last time. Beverly nodded, her expression supportive. "I'll be right here, okay? Take your time." I approached the bench, my heart racing. Hannah looked up as I approached, her eyes widening with surprise. "David," she said softly, her voice tinged with uncertainty. "Hey, Hannah," I replied, trying to keep my tone neutral. "Mind if I sit?" She gestured for me to take a seat, her expression a mix of apprehension and hope. "I didn't expect to see you here." "Yeah, it's a nice day," I said, forcing a smile. "How have you been?" "Trying to find my way," she admitted, looking down at her hands. It's been difficult since everything that happened. I nodded, feeling the weight of her words. I can imagine. I've been moving forward, but it's taken a lot of time. Hannah looked up, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. I'm really sorry for everything, David. I know I can't take back what happened, but I've been working on myself. I just wanted to apologize properly. The sincerity in her voice struck a chord within me, but the pain of the past lingered. I appreciate that, Hannah. But you have to understand, your choices changed everything. It's not something I can forget. I know, she said, her voice breaking. And I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that I'm trying to be better. I don't want to live in the shadow of what I did anymore. Her honesty was disarming, and for a moment, I felt a flicker of compassion. You're on your own journey now, and I truly hope you find peace. But I've moved on. I can't go back to who we were. I understand, she replied, wiping away a tear. I just wanted you to know that I think of you often. I regret how things turned out. The weight of our shared history hung heavy in the air, a reminder of the love that had once been vibrant but had now turned to dust. It was a beautiful thing, I said softly. But sometimes beautiful things fall apart. She nodded, her expression somber. I wish I could change it. I wish I could change everything. I do too, I said, feeling the finality of our conversation settling in. But it's time for both of us to let go. You have to find your own path. Hannah took a deep breath, the resolve in her eyes fading to acceptance. I know this is goodbye, then. I'll always care about you, David. And I care about you too, I said, my heart aching with the weight of our shared past. But it's time for us to move on. As I stood to leave, I felt a profound sense of closure wash over me. The past was no longer a chain binding me, it had become a part of my story, a chapter that had taught me valuable lessons. Thank you for talking to me, Hannah said, her voice barely above a whisper. I hope you find all the happiness you deserve. I hope the same for you, I replied, giving her a small nod before turning to walk back toward Beverly, who had been watching from a distance. As I approached her, she smiled, and I could see the concern in her eyes. How did it go? It felt good to finally say goodbye, I said, feeling lighter than I had in years. We've both moved on, and that's okay. Beverly took my hand, giving it a gentle squeeze. I'm proud of you. You faced your past with courage. As we walked away from the park, I felt the weight of closure settle comfortably on my shoulders. I had faced Hannah one last time, allowing both of us to step into a future unburdened by the shadows of what once was. In that moment, I realized I was ready to fully embrace the life I had built with Beverly. Together, we would create new memories, new adventures, and a love that thrived in the light, free from the darkness of betrayal. And as we walked hand in hand toward our future, I felt a sense of peace I hadn't known in a long time, a final farewell to the past and a warm welcome to the life that lay ahead. The days turned into weeks, and the vibrancy of autumn began to paint the world around us with golden hues. With each passing day, I felt a renewed sense of purpose and joy. Beverly and I continued to explore our relationship, nurturing the bond we had forged in the wake of my past. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the landscape, I found myself reflecting on how far I had come. Sitting on the porch of our cozy apartment, I watched as the leaves danced in the breeze, feeling a profound sense of gratitude for the life I was now living. Beverly joined me, settling into the space beside me. What are you thinking about? She asked, her voice soft and inviting. Just how different life is now, I replied, glancing at her. I used to feel so weighed down by everything that happened. It's like a fog has finally lifted. She smiled, her eyes sparkling in the fading light. I'm glad you feel that way. You deserve to be happy, David. Thanks for being here with me, I said, sincerity filling my voice. I don't think I could have moved on without your support. Beverly reached for my hand, intertwining our fingers. We're in this together. That's what matters. As the weeks continued, we began to make plans for the future. We talked about traveling to new places, exploring the world together, and even starting a family someday. Each conversation brought us closer, deepening the love that had blossomed between us. One weekend, we decided to take a trip to the mountains, where we could hike, camp, and enjoy the beauty of nature. As we set up our campsite, the excitement in the air was palpable. "I can't wait to see the stars tonight," Beverly said, her eyes lighting up with enthusiasm. "The night sky here is supposed to be incredible." "Just wait until you see it," I replied, feeling a sense of anticipation. There's something magical about being away from city lights, surrounded by nature. After a day filled with hiking and laughter, we sat around the campfire, the crackling flames illuminating our faces. We shared stories, roasted marshmallows, and enjoyed each other's company, the warmth of the fire mirroring the warmth in our hearts. As the stars began to twinkle overhead, I felt a wave of contentment wash over me. It was in moments like this that I truly understood the power of new beginnings. I had faced the darkness of my past, and now I was fully present in the light of my future. Beverly leaned against me, her head resting on my shoulder. "David, I'm so grateful for this moment," she whispered. "For us?" "Me too," I replied, looking up at the vast expanse of stars above us. "This feels like exactly where I'm meant to be." In that moment, I realized how much I had grown. The scars of my past remained, but they no longer defined me. Instead, they had shaped me into someone who appreciated the beauty of love, trust, and second chances. As the night deepened, Beverly pulled away slightly and looked into my eyes. "Can I ask you something?" she said, her tone serious yet gentle. "Of course," I replied, sensing the weight of her question. "What do you see for us in the future?" she asked, her gaze steady. I took a moment to reflect, feeling a rush of emotions. "I see a life filled with adventure, laughter, and love. I want to build something beautiful with you. I see us growing together, facing challenges hand in hand, and creating a family one day." Her eyes sparkled with emotion. "That sounds perfect, David. I want that too." I leaned in closer, feeling a rush of affection. "Then let's make it happen. Together." As we sat beneath the stars, the night sky wrapped around us like a comforting embrace, I felt a sense of hope that resonated deep within my soul. I had moved past the pain of betrayal, forged a new path, and found love again in the most unexpected way. With Beverly by my side, I was ready to embrace the future, unafraid of what lay ahead. The shadows of the past no longer held sway over me. Instead, I was filled with a sense of purpose, eager to carve out a life that was truly my own. And as the fire crackled softly beside us, I knew that this was just the beginning, a new chapter filled with love, adventure, and the promise of brighter days to come.